Welcome back to The Forge, everyone. Thank you for watching. I think you're going to be as pumped as I am to talk about this knife today, a modern rendition of an old school carry knife. It's a modern School EDC. And I'll tell you what, this has some amazing advantages for everyday carry today, just like it did hundreds of years ago. So stay tuned. We're gonna get into this knife as well as getting into that awesome pocket carry sheath, which takes this to a whole new level of carryability and versatility. So stay watching. So we've got our 1095 high carbon steel blade here. It's 3.5 inches. The handle is 4 inches even, giving this an overall really nice and comfortable carry size. That 3.5 inches is about as short a knife as I really ever want to carry. That one shorter School EDC I did a previous video on, it's great, I love it, it's fun, but that blade is a little short for my personal liking, which is actually one of the reasons I made this one. I want to dial that blade length in, and this slightly longer blade kind of gets me what I want when it comes to mainly food preparation and things like that. Notice the nice taper here all the way to the end, so we get a nice, good, fine cut towards the tip. We'll demonstrate that later on. Notice also the asymmetrical handle there. Again, that's just a little place for you to put your thumb in when you're going for a thrust, if you were to do such a thing, or a slash, if you were to do such a thing. I don't expect to. It's also just a comfortable place to put your finger when you're using it for utility tasks. Jimping all along the back, this has a micarta handle, which ends up looking very nice. You can kind of see the detail of the swell on the handle there. Super comfortable. So again, one of the advantages of this mirrored handle is it's comfortable 1, 2, 3, 4 types of grip. And I use all those types of grip. So for instance, you can choke way up on here, put your finger there if you're cutting through leather, which I do. I make sheaths with this knife. Or that's also a great way to cut through leather. If you're thinking just trying to pound through something, or say you're open up a can of beans, put that on there, pound the back, there you go. Standard, and then reverse. You're doing some carving like this. Very comfortable. So great versatility in that handle there. And then again, with a blade like this, it's not such a big sweep towards the tip that you lose all your cutting momentum. It's pretty flat, which just gets you good, consistent cutting power even towards the tip of the knife. So that's one of the reasons I love the School EDC design. It's a very efficient cutter. So let's get into some of this cutting demonstration, just so I can show you what I've just kind of explained to you. It took me less than a second and a half to draw this and cut through this 1-inch piece of manila rope. Now, that was easier than I expected it. It's not a small thing to cut through a 1-inch piece of manila rope, especially not a free-hanging one, especially not when you're trying to do it at speed. Bill Bagwell, who really is an authority in the Bowie knife industry, said that, listen, if you're going for a Bowie knife, make sure it's at least 9 inches long and make sure it can cut through a 1-inch piece of free-hanging rope. Now imagine a 9-inch blade that couldn't cut through a 1-inch piece of free-hanging rope. That's not a great thing. Well, here is a 3.5-inch long blade that can cut through this free-hanging piece of manila rope, and it can sit in your pocket. Now, follow along at home if you can. Take a piece of 1-inch rope, take your knife, and do that with it. You gotta have a good, fine edge to do that. This happens to be a convex edge. So not only can it do things like this, but it also is fairly durable with respect to the amount of fine cutting you're getting. Now, this isn't a knife that I would pound through a nail because this edge is finer than the other edges that I've made that are more for survival combat type knife. This is something bushcraft, everyday carry. It's gonna cut super fine and still be really durable, but not quite up to the standard of pounding through a piece of steel. You can have different types of convex edges. You can have a really nice fine one, kind of comparable to a Mora knife Scandinavian grind, or you can have a bigger, stronger one. In all cases, at least in my experience, they do cut better and they also are more durable than whatever blade they're analogous to, be that convex or flat, or be that flat grind or something like a Scandi grind. So there you have it, a little demonstration of the power of such a small and light blade. 3.8 ounces, fits in my pocket, and can come out with extreme speed if we're talking combative. If we're not, it can still come out with extreme speed to do your, cut your apple, do whatever you're doing, and you can just put it right back and it's good to go. Just a little bit more about the versatility and durability of a little ski and do like this. Got through that 2x4, and our edge, we can still feather that. It hasn't hurt those knots or things like that. And we're still, got that nice, fine feathering sticks here. So you've got versatility in a small package, because you could split your wood, make your fire, and do your shelter and clean your game and whatever else you want to do, all with one little knife that you can have in your pocket 24/7, 3.8 ounces, and something like this costs you probably less than $300. That's a great deal, guys. If you want a hand-forged knife like that, you can get one from Mars Fire Forge. Well, there's your fire. Something that's caused me a lot of heartache throughout the years is snapping the tips of the knives that I care about so much. Here's one of my favorite knives I own. Recon Tanto, cold steel, awesome knife, carbon 5. And look at that big old thick spine, thick tip. And yet I snapped the knife off this tip. I was really surprised. Snap the knife off this tip. I snapped the tip off this knife. I was really surprised. And it was just in a stump. I think it was hemlock. So that's just too bad. And that happens when your whole knife is tempered at the same hardness. Of course, for the Mars Fire knives, they're tempered differentially, so they show a little more durability. Now, take a look at how fine that tip is. All right? Now we're going to do this here. Opening in deep, too. That's 2x4. I could probably go through the whole thing, honestly, if I needed to, wanted to. But that should suffice to show you just how great that durability is. Our tip is fine. I mean, I can still feel it catch the skin on my thumb. No damage, no problem at all, even with something that is clearly an abusive use of a knife. One more reason to grab yourself a Mars Fire Forge knife. Let's talk about the sheath for a second as we close. We've got 2 layers of 9-ounce leather with 1 layer of 5-ounce leather, to which conforms to the shape of the knife. This allows you some good retention, a nice little snap when going back in there, kind of a muffled snap. There you go. And definitely lets you retain the blade well. Now, I've increased the tension of the spring clip and also modified it slightly, so the spring tension is great enough that you can draw the blade without the whole sheath coming out of your pocket pant. obviously very important if you want that to go smoothly. So this is just like a pocket sheath. I'm going to show you a couple ways in which it can be worn. You could also go on the belt if you'd like to, but it's very minimalistic, very light, looks great, especially that dual colored stitching. As always, it's hand stitched, hand stained, hand oiled, rubbed, buffed, cut, all that stuff. Just do it at the kitchen table or whenever I get a chance. So this is completely hand done. Let me now show you a couple ways in which you can put on this knife. Firstly, you've got a very comfortable, very discreet pocket carry. You can leave it there if you want to have it visible, if you need to have it visible for legality issues, or just very easily you can, well, if you got a little bit longer shirt, or you hike up your pants a little bit, tighten that belt. There you go, you can cover it up with your shirt. Not this one, but a flannel you could. All right, and notice, all right, sheath stays in, knife comes out. Do what you want to do. How I do is I just drop it in there, grab the bottom here, and then click it in. That's a good way to do it. That ensures that you're not slamming it through your femoral artery accidentally, and that everything's set up right. So there is a really nice, easy way to carry it. Now, there's also, you want to go more discreet, which I do sometimes. Just bring it up a little bit and go in the waistband. You can go behind the belt in the waistband. There's a lot of retention there. Pop that on. And now that's really quite hidden. You don't really even see the clip, so you go tucked in shirt if you'd like to. Look at that. And you've still got that scheme do right there, ready to go. So you can go behind waistband, and you don't need a belt for it. If you'd like to wear outside belt, you just reverse it, pop it on your belt. Again, I've got this clip really tight. And there you go. That's also a nice little way to carry it, a little conversational piece. You draw it, edge will be facing this way, and use it as you'd like, and go on again. Edge will be facing this way, rather. So you want to do a twist and use it like that. So another versatile way to carry it there. Let me show you a few others. All right, try to guess where I'm carrying it right now. That's right. In the sock, old Scottish style. Even with this knife in your sock, it's not going flying. It's not flying when I kick this guy. Pretty incredible. But there you go. And we could go on and on. You could do backpack, any type of strap. Really, it's just as versatile as your imagination is where you could clip this knife to, especially it's such a light package. So I hope that went to demonstrate to you kind of why the Skeen-Doo might be something useful for you. Everyday carry knife. I mean, it is like the old school everyday carry knife. A Skeen-Doo also can totally hold its own if it has to be emergency employed as a combat implement. And you know, that's always good to consider. So thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Head over to my website, marsfireforge.com. Got to upload some new videos, but knives like this will be available over there. I've got a little section there where the knives have already forged. You can buy those right away. I'll ship them right to you. Or if you're gonna have something custom forged, you can get a hold of me on there. Also, always feel free to reach out, marsfireforge@gmail.com. Just go ahead and email me and we can talk and get stuff going. I've already had a number of people email me from these videos, and they're getting custom knives made for them right now, actually. Check out my Instagram, marsfireforge again, at Instagram. And you can PM me on there. You know, whatever way you want to reach out, get a hold of me. My phone number's on the website. Go ahead and do that, because if you want one of these knives, I really want to get you one of these knives. So again, something like this, I'm thinking, you know, this is 2024, but I'm thinking this would go for $275, $3, something like that. I have to look at how long it takes to make it. But yeah, some price around there if you're looking for it. So love to make you one. Reach out, please comment, please like and share, subscribe. I'd love for you guys to subscribe. It's really exciting seeing the channel grow. I love putting out this content, and it's really exciting when there's people who are interested in it as well. Thanks one more time for watching, and I hope you have a great evening.